Hello folks. So the last video I did, Inkstitch, I'm going to do another Inkstitch video, another ask for help. Got an email from somebody asking for assistance. We're going to check that out here. I've got two emails. First email, good day Dale, happy and blessed new year to you. Happy new year to you as well. Greetings from South Africa. Emails like this always make me pause because I'm old. And I remember a time when you would phone call the next city from you, and it would be long distance, and it would be however long you were connected, it would become very expensive. Ask me how I know. So, this is awesome. I love stuff like this. So, thank you from South Africa. Greetings back to South Africa. I love that. Thank you for taking the time to teach us all on YouTube. I have learned a lot, but still a lot to learn. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. I was wondering if you could possibly give me some help with the attached file. Probably. I'll check it out. I have seemingly done everything correctly, but it just doesn't want to translate it to a satin stitch on the machine. Okay. I have attached a video of what it looks like in real life, which is nothing like the simulator on the Inkstitch. On the machine, it just jumps left to right and only does a stitch on the very outer edge of the design, which obviously leaves everything else in between the stitches very loose, as there is a great distance between a stitch on the left and on the right. I have only been experiencing this problem with this file. Okay, so immediately that makes me think your satin stitch is probably too large. And then I watched the little video. Very short. I don't really understand what part of the design this is trying to stitch. Considering there's not much stitching done, this is probably the on the object layers, the bottom one. So we will try that, and then I replied and to verify, well, what part of this is this happening with. Thank you very much. I have separated the part that is in question. The video is short, yes, and that sadly is due to the machine only running those weird jumping around stitches physically, and then the rest it runs through on the screen of the machine only, and then it's done. So the machine program is showing it's doing it, but it's not doing it, I think. It appears to only place a stitch on the left and on the right edge, which leaves a lot of slack in between the two stitches. It may be because I have not done the satin stitch design correctly, or it could be that a solid image, think of a big solid one color round dot, cannot be stitched in a satin stitch and only in a normal fill. I don't like to use normal fill stitch options as it looks like full of divots and not smooth like a satin stitch. Sample attached to normal fill, blue dot background. Okay, I think I can work with this. We're going to look at the SVG, and I think the object in question is the bottom one. What is that? Okay, that's the K. Okay. So the bottom one. Okay, it looks like a satin stitch. I'm going to push shift and I'm going to give it a color so I can see it more easily. And it definitely looks like a design of a satin stitch. Let's look in params, Inkstitch params. Oh my. Yep, that is the design of a satin stitch. So, custom satin layer. Okay, it looks like we have a zigzag, which it looks. I'm going to uncheck that zigzag just so I can see more. Okay. There's a lot of things going on here. You really don't want satin stitches to overlay each other like what it's doing here, and also here, right here. And I'll show you. See how the satin stitch goes up and then it spreads out wider and then goes down. Now it's covering previously laid stitches, and now it's coming back up again, and once again covering the previously laid stitch threads that are covering previously laid threads. And you really want to avoid. There are times when that's actually part of your design, and if that's the case here, then ignore what I'm saying. But most of the time you don't want that to happen. And just for giggles, I'm going to show you a very exaggerated example of what I'm talking about. So if I'm going to make an arrow, and I come up here and I do something like this, and I want this to be a satin arrow, so all I'm going to do is duplicate that layer, flip it around, bring it over, and then grab the other one, Control K for combine, and then params. I know I did this very quickly. And then custom satin column. Now you can see what I'm talking about right here, where it's overlaying stitches that was already done. Not really how you want to do something like this. And in this case, I would come in here, I would lay stitches like this, and then we'll combine. They should stitch out, so I'm going to go ahead and go params, satin column, custom satin column. So there's one leg. We'll duplicate that, flip it around, drag it over. There's my other side. And then we'll come in here and we'll go from there to there and duplicate that, drag it over. I actually do want that to overlap a little bit because I'm going to do auto route. I do want those two to overlap a little bit on the previous one. Control K, extensions, Inkstitch, params, and then custom satin column. Hit apply and quit. And then from there, let's go ahead and get rid of that other one I did. I can see exactly where I'm at. From there, I'm going to go from right about here to right about there somewhere, and then duplicate, slot it over, drag it over. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm going to pull both of those ends out just a little bit so they come together a little bit more, just like that. Grab the other one, combine, extensions, Inkstitch, params, custom satin column. Lovely. Now select everything, select all of them, go to Inkstitch, satin tools, and auto route satin column. Hit close. Now we'll look at the whole thing. This should turn out to be a very nice arrow without any overlaps. And the reason it is, yeah, I know. I need to do that in a visualize instead of params. Okay, there's my lines. So no jump stitches and no overlapping stitches. I do need to pull these two out just a little bit, but other than that, I don't have any problems. Much better. That's just a very exaggerated example. Hit close on that. That'll put us back on this. So back to the background in question. I fully understand. I do also love satin stitches more than fill. I'm going to show you a couple of options that you can also do a fill stitch and make it look a little bit more like satin, or you can do a satin stitch as here and make it act more like a fill stitch. And I'm going to show you how to do that. First one I'm going to do is the satin stitch since it's already here. Okay, so one of the first things we need to look at is just how wide are we talking about here. So I'm going to take my little measure tool right here and measure the width. Oh boy. That's pretty wide. 72 millimeters is definitely too wide for a satin stitch. And I'm not sure exactly how machines work, but there are some machines that when they have a jump stitch that is over a certain length, the machine will trim that jump stitch. Not because it's getting a trim command, but because the jump stitch is over that certain length. And I don't know what the lengths are. I'm assuming different machines have different lengths for this trim jump stitch, automatic trim. I guarantee you are beyond that length. So your machine may be thinking this is not actually a satin stitch, this is a jump stitch because it's so far. So definitely too far. Very definitely. So what can we do to mitigate this? So there's some things we can do. Some pretty cool things we can do in Inkstitch. And we're going to look at the first one we're going to look at is the satin stitch option. Since I already have a satin stitch here, I'm just going to run with the satin stitch that's already here, and let's see what our options are. So just for reference, most sites will tell you not to go over 10 millimeters on your satin stitch, 70 plus on this one. So let's see what we can do. No problem. No problem at all. Let's go to I'm gonna highlight that background area and go to Inkstitch params. This one is just really simple. You already have a satin stitch. You'll need to fix these overlaps unless you're doing that on purpose. It is possible. So right here, looking for a maximum right here, maximum stitch length in millimeter. Now you'll see a whole bunch of points. Now there is not a single stitch that is not more than 5 millimeters. And there's also neat things you can do. Random jitter for split stitches. This is called split stitch. So we can set a random jitter, random phase, minimum length for random phase split. There's a lot of cool things that can also happen so that, okay, this is really cool, but I'm gonna uncheck that so that we can see it and apply and quit. I'm gonna do a realistic. Let's do a what is it? Stitch plan preview. I think design layer unchanged, realistic, stitch beside canvas. Okay, that's everything that I want. Realistic view high. I don't need high quality. Let's just set that to standard quality. This is the new preview, which I'm not a big fan of, but this is what we get. So you can see your stitch is going to kind of look like this. It's going to look like panels. But let's go ahead and delete that. Delete. Let's go back to that bottom layer, extensions, Inkstitch params. Let's set that random phase. Maximum stitch length, and then set a random phase. Now you can see on this preview, I've got needle points showing. So you can see that this is not the same cookie cutter looking design. So hit apply and quit. Now we'll go back into Inkstitch and then visualize and stitch plan preview. Everything's still the same. Hit apply. Hit close. Now when you look at it, it still has a design, sort of a design, but it's not cookie cutter. It doesn't look cookie cuttered out. This is a good option as opposed to a fill. This way you're not making your satin stitches too long and maybe throwing the machine into whack. But this'll help you out. Let's go ahead and delete that. Delete. Alrighty. Okay, so I went back and just made a real quick outline fill. So here we have a fill. I'm gonna already hid that. So what can we do with the fill to make it look less like a fill? So go to extensions, Inkstitch params. To me, this would be a better option because you wouldn't be overlapping those layers I talked about earlier. Let's go fill underlay and turn off that fill underlay. Go to fill stitch and we're going to turn off underpath. So now we already look a lot more like a satin stitch. It's unchecked the needle points, but if you go in here and you zoom in, it looks a lot more like a satin stitch, but it is still a fill stitch and it's not going to overlap on these overlapping little outcroppings. So that's a whole lot better option. And then as needed, you can make the maximum fill stitch length. You can make that a little bit smaller to make it more dense so that you don't have the peaks peeking through. You can change, not that one, spacing between rows. That's the one you want to change. We have 3,133 stitches. If we set that to 2, instead of 0.25, we set it to 0.2. We have 3,907 stitches. Just that small change alone is going to make it a lot more dense. So that's all that needs to be done there. We're going to, and it's already set to a horizontal, sort of like the other was. So that's something to look at. If you don't like the way a standard fill stitch looks, change up that fill stitch to not be standard fill stitch. And it'll probably turn out a lot better. And in some cases better than doing a satin stitch in a way that's not recommended. So having done that, I'm going to drop that down into the background like it's supposed to be. And then we're going to select a bit lighter, something nicer. That's better. But something we can see at the same time. Let's go with that one. And white, I think, is what he had been previously selected, but I want to be able to see it a little bit better. I could do something like that. Yeah, any of these work. Just to be able to see it better. And then we're going to look at the whole design. Visualize and simulate. Let's see what it does. Oh yeah. See how that looks. To me, that looks really good. I still don't like this. I'll show you how to fix this in a minute. I still don't like that. But other than that, this looks a lot better than it did, I think. And you can decide on if you want to do it with the satin stitch and maximum stitch length and do it that way. Or if you want to turn the fill stitch into more of a satin stitch look, you can do it that way. So either way works, but this looks much better. And I'll even, just for giggles, I'll even turn off that fill layer, turn that satin layer back, that fixed satin layer back on, and we'll do the preview again. Just to see the difference. It's a different color. Ooh, that's a bad color. Okay, let's fix the color of it. so that it's more like what I just picked. I think was that one, I think. And then let's do it again. Extensions, Inkstitch, fill. Yep, simulate. Let's go with that. So let's see how this looks. I don't like these folds that's in that satin. You got one here and you got one here, and again here and again here. I don't like that satin fold. And to me, that doesn't look good, but it could be intentional. That can be a specific thing to your design. And if it is, just ignore what I'm saying. Just understand that I'm telling other people, if you get this and you don't like it, this is how you fix it. And so to me, the fixed fill to me looks better. And you know, different machines gonna stitch it a little bit different. It depends. Do a sample stitch and see how you like it. That to me that looks really good. Let's fix these side horns here, and I'll show you how to do that. So what we're gonna do is I need this. Oh, let's see how many. Yep, I've got a few there. So I should be able to take that one. I should be able to delete that one. Let's see if we can delete that one. Still keep. Oh yeah. Okay, now we're working with one there. How many's here? Is it the same way? Okay, there's only one here. So we're going to keep that one like it is. Okay, and then from here, what we're going to do is I'm going to cut that. Let's cut that out. Cut it out. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to cut this one as well. All right, so that's what we want there. I'm going to grab the Bezier tool. I'm going to select that. We're going to put one right about there and one right about there. And now that's joined. So if we look at this one, let's see, we need to break that apart. We need to break that apart. Path, break apart. That's going to give us a whole bunch of things. I understand that. Yep, it sure is. What is that one? Okay, this only works on half, so that's good. That's a good thing. And then I want to select everything but these. So, which is that? Okay. So it's everything else. Yep. So I'm going to select all of that and unselect that one. And we should be able to go back Control K for combine, Inkstitch params. We should have a working satin stitch here. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll have to fix that. That's fine. I don't know why it did that. Did I not put... Was there in there? Yep, I hate it when it does stuff like that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Control Z, undo what you didn't mean to do. Alright. We're going to break that apart again. Where is that? And where is that? Oh, I don't know why it did that. Oh, I do know why it did that. Okay. Yep, I know why it did that. It needs to be one. It's those two. Okay, so those two need to be one. So I think path. Does union work for something like this? No. Oh, you know what? I know what to do here. Yeah. Okay, I know what to do here. All right, in the nodes tool, I'm gonna select both of these. That's a node. Check this out. Now it's one object. Okay, so now we're good. Now it should work the way we wanted it to work. And Control K, extensions, Inkstitch params, Satin, custom Satin. Now it should go around nicely. Oh, it is beautiful. Outstanding. Now we're going to make these into satins. Pull that on down. We're going to pull it down inside a little bit. And we're going to pull that one down inside a little bit. We're going to take that one and we're going to break it. We're going to take that one and we're going to break it. So now these are two separate objects. Nice. That is a separate object. Now we need both of these lines to be running. We don't need, but we should have both of these lines running in the same direction. We could actually do that in params, to be honest. I need to break that one apart as well. I think I missed the button. Oh, I did the wrong button. Okay, so now, all right, so now those are good. So now I need to take this object. I need to break this object apart again. We should get 4 individual objects. Path. Break apart. That gives us 4, just like I said. Should be 20 and 21. Extensions, Inkstitch. Params. Again, keep in mind these are running in opposite directions. But Inkstitch understands what's going on here, so it did exactly what it needed to do. Current version of Inkstitch is just pretty much amazing. Let's go ahead and combine these two. Combine extensions, Inkstitch params. Satin column, custom satin column, and again, beautiful and outstanding. Now, here's where some more magic of Inkstitch comes into play. I'm going to select that one, and that one. So I've got those 3 satin stitches, satin columns, and we're going to go extensions, Inkstitch tools, satin tools, auto route, satin column, no jump stitch. I have nothing selected here. Hit apply. That's fine. It did not mess it up. I'm going to show you. It did not mess it up. I'm going to go in here where the auto route is. I'm going to go to stroke style and I'm going to make that number a little smaller. Now it looks semi-normal. It just blew up the line size is all. Now with that auto route, we're going to go to extensions, Inkstitch, and let's do a simulate. And that's a running stitch coming down here. That's a running stitch going up there. That is beautiful. Let's close that out. Let's go to the entire selection. Let's do an Inkstitch. Let's do a stitch plan preview. Let's do realistic, I guess. Same realistic view I've been doing, I guess. So now we can compare what I did on the left side to what was already there on the right side. And again, if it was purposely designed that way, you just continue to do it that way. It's all good. Okay, I'm gonna move this down so we can see it a little bit better. This is my side design. And to me, that looks good. To me, that looks very good. And then this is what was already there. And you see there's spacing here. You can see where this is starting to pull and overlap. This stitch goes to here, this one to here, this one to here, blah, 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 etc., etc. And you can really see it on this other side where that overlap is causing an issue, potential issue. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Maybe do it a little bit smoother this time. And let's go ahead and get rid of that stitch plan. And go to Nodes tool. I need to see there's only one here. Okay, I'm going to cut that. So now there's two. Okay. And what do we have here? We have two. So I need to cut. I need to delete one of these. I need to delete that one. So that should keep us pretty close to what it was. Yeah, why is it doing that? Okay, we'll leave it like that, and then we'll cut it. And now that it's cut, now we can do this and make it look neater. Okay, so there we go. So that's cut away. And I need to take the Bezier tool and let's move that back up here. Move that one up here, out of the way a little bit. And these are where we want them to be. So the Bezier tool, I'm going to take from here, here, to here. And the last time I did that, it didn't combine it, and it does not this time either. So we want to select both of those and join. Now we should have one. Okay. That should give us one. Should be good. And then on this, now we want to break that apart. Path. Break apart. Gives us all these. That's good. That is good. Now this time we want to basically the same. Okay, so from here. Yep, from here up, minus that path. So combine, Control K, combine. That should give us our satin path back. Let's do params. Satin, custom satin. Custom satin. And that gives us our satin back. Outstanding. Now this we have to work with a little bit. We're going to get this. We're going to go back to our nodes tool, select this one, break that node, break that node, and break that node. Okay. Now we have that. Now break apart path. Break apart should give us 4, which it did. That gives us 4 objects. We're going to run these down inside a little bit so that the auto route has an easier time. And so that one's 28 and that one's 29, 28 and 29. Now, Inkscape's usually really good about recovery, so let's see how good it recovered. It looks like it recovered exactly where I was. This is on Linux. I hope Inkscape recovers just as successfully on Windows and Mac. But I don't get crashes very often, but usually it recovers pretty nicely, and it did. So I'm going to go back to those two. Control K for combine. Extensions, Inkstitch, params, and custom satin column, Ah, nice. Hit apply and quit. Same thing for these two. I pushed shift to select that second one. I pushed shift, by the way. Inkstitch params. Oh, I didn't combine. This is what happens when you don't combine. If all you see here is stroke and you don't see any of those other options, it's because you didn't combine them. It doesn't see an option to create a satin stitch for some reason. And in this case, I just didn't combine them. So Control K. Now they're combined. Extensions, Inkstitch params. Now I have my satin column, custom satin column. Apply and quit. Select. I'm going to push shift to select that one as well. And then I'm going to push shift again to click that one as well. Now we'll do the same thing. Inkstitch, tool Satin, auto round, Satin columns, hit apply. And again, it's ugly, but it's just because for some reason and I am working on a development version of Inkstitch, so that could be part of that. And I'm just going to drop that down, makes it look a lot better. And extensions, Inkstitch, visualize a simulator. Should be nice and neat like the other one. Outstanding. Alrighty. So let's look at the whole thing as one. Extensions, Inkstitch. Let's do that stitch plan preview. Hit apply. Hit close, and there is our finished piece, which I think looks pretty good. And of course I'm biased. I'm not denying that one bit. I am biased in thinking that it looks pretty good because I worked on it. But anyway, this is the result. And I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to send this design, this fixed design back to you, and you can try it out and see what you think, and you'll see why I have a layer of satin hidden with a layer of fill stitch on top of that, not hidden for the background. You'll see that. You'll be able to work with it. You'll be able to use whichever one you want to use. But that's it. That's all for this fix. If you want me to critique or help with any of your designs, send me an email, dale@lowtechlinux.com. Be happy to. So that's all for this video. And as always, until next time, thank you so much for watching.